Experts are sounding the alarm over the House-passed PRO Act and urging senators to stop the bill in its tracks. This is the reporting of One America's John Hines in Washington.
I wanted to ask you about something called the PRO Act, Protecting the Right to Organize Act, and I believe that this has been approved by the House of Representatives at this point. But this poses some risks, or I guess some dangers, to essentially right-to-work laws throughout the country. What's going on?
But what we have here with the PRO Act is the United States Congress, at least the House of Representatives at this point, saying that they want to repeal all 27 right-to-work laws, which are very simple laws. It simply says you can join a union, you can participate in a union. In fact, you could give your entire paycheck to a labor union, but in the 27 right-to-work states, you can't be compelled to pay fees or dues to the union to get or keep a job. Sounds pretty simple, sounds pretty favorable, but this Congress and Nancy Pelosi and her caucus want to do away with those 27 right-to-work laws across the country and reimpose federal authorization for forced dues in those states.
Why is it important for some American states to retain right-to-work laws?
Well, first of all, it's a basic right, it's a basic issue of individual freedom. I mean, a right-to-work law says you can participate in a union, you don't have to participate in a union. It gives you the choice, the worker, the choice to choose whether or not to join a union. Why union officials oppose it is because it's a good business model, John. They get to compel someone to pay them money for the privilege of working. So in the 23 states that don't have right-to-work laws, the simple matter that you don't tender dues or fees to a private organization means you get fired. That's a neat business model. Any businessman would like to have that. You know, don't have to provide really any services.
You get fired.
You get fired from your job. You'd be terminated from your job.
If you don't support the union.
If you don't pay the dues or fees, that's right.
Talk about the competitive aspects of right-to-work states versus non-right-to-work states.
The economic advantages of right-to-work states is becoming more demonstrable all the time. Site selection consultants say that companies looking to expand or relocate won't even consider a state unless it has a right-to-work law. That means that in 3 out of 4 cases, generally you're out of the running for a new investment if you don't have a right-to-work law. Those are real economic impacts. But when you adjust for cost of living, what we do know is that workers in right-to-work states have up to $4,500 more to spend in disposable income.
Explain a little bit about AB5 in California and explain about the similarities between the PRO Act just passed by the House and this AB5 bill that was passed in California.
Yeah, the AB5 bill goes to trying to define the difference between an independent contractor and an employee. Obviously, labor policy in our country treats independent employees differently than it treats bona fide employees. What AB5 did was try to basically wipe out the Uber and Lyft gig economy in California. And elements of that AB5 are in this PRO Act bill that was passed in the House. But what they did here is they incorporated this AB5 model, which says, you know, there are not really any independent contractors anymore. They're all employees, and if they're employees, they can be unionized. We hope the Senate looks at it and looks at it in the context of all of these things that big labor wants to do and the powers they wish to be granted under the PRO Act, and say, you know, most of this stuff is not pro-worker and it's not pro-environment, or excuse me, not pro-worker and not pro-growth.
Mark Mix, President of the National Right to Work Committee, thank you for joining us on One America News.
My pleasure. Thank you.